Vosh, we have to move to our second segment of the show. I've been talking to you about this gentleman. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join us for the art of it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
And tonight, our next guest is he is a mainstay as an actor in the DMV theater scene, appearing in such productions as Restoration Stage Chocolate Covered Ants, which I thought was great, and The Very Last Days of the Very First Colored Circus, Rockville Musical Theater's Hairspray, the St. Mark's Players, South Pacific, and Green Art Center's Motherhood Out Loud, and many, many others. He has also used his talents behind the scenes, directing Little Theater of Alexandria's The Freakiest Show and the movement coach for Dominion Stage production of The Bluest Eye. He is the lead actor in Radio Golf, which is a famous play by August Wilson, showing at the Peace Mountain Theater Company in Chevy Chase beginning February 17th. Ladies and gentlemen, please join to the He Said stage, MarQuis Fair.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, MarQuis, how you
Lovely
doing?
introduction. You got it all together. Thank you so much for having me.
The man with the golden smile. Okay, thank you for joining us, man. Thank you.
Listen, I don't know if I can follow Chef KATRELL. She did that. She did that. Okay. I'm out here. I'm about to go cook myself right now.
Okay. Yes, well, man, no, thank you for being here. I'm gonna say again, I saw Chocolate Covered Ants. I saw you in it, and I thought that was the first time that was the first time I saw you, but then I met you and I saw you acting on another gig. You are truly amazing. So I'm just gonna jump right in it, and because we want to hear from you. So you've landed the role of, the leading role as Harmon Wilkes in the August Wilson's Radio Golf. Tell us about your role, MarQuis, and how you embodied that character to make it happen.
Absolutely. So the show is set in 1997. It's in Pittsburgh. And I'm playing Harmon Wilkes. And Harmon comes from a sort of upper middle class background. I did not come from an upper middle class background, but he grew up with a little bit of a silver spoon in his mouth. He has very ambitious goals and dreams about what he wants to do. And throughout the play, the setup is that he's running to be mayor of Pittsburgh. And at the time, part of his campaign is that he's running on redeveloping a particular area in Pittsburgh. The problem comes in where the redevelopment plan is about to tear down a much beloved home of one of the Black people in the community. And the show explores themes of gentrification, a little bit of like selling out, and how you sort of balance trying to arrive, as many people have been, trying to do here and there, versus, holding on to your roots. So as far as how I've embodied the role, certainly I've been in other August Wilson plays, Seven Guitars, Fences, certainly. But, you take a little bit of yourself and you try to infuse, okay, how would I play this character? And certainly I am going to date myself. I'm 42 years old. I've had my own struggles about, okay, how much of myself do I want to do corporate, or how much of my artistry do I want to hold on to for myself? So there is a balance, counterbalance, and the cast is rounded out with a wonderful set of other fine actors. They're all Black actors here in the area. None of the people that I've met before, but they're all like killing it, and I can't wait to put on the show.
Oh, okay.
Nice. You're getting lots of love from our viewers.
Yes.
Benjamin said Hollywood Smile. Tina Daniels has said hello. And Terry Franklin said August Wilson is America's Shakespeare. I have a question. What are you hoping that people are going to take away from seeing this performance of Radio Golf?
So ultimately, as an actor and as a person that's been doing this for 20 years, ultimately I want to tell a story, right? Mm-hmm. And Harmon's journey from he's very optimistic and very sort of naive about the ways of the world. And at the very end of the show, without giving too much away, he has a bit of an awakening about his role in Black America and how much I'm going to say it, white America will let him progress.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a wonderful speech, a monologue at the end that I'm still working on. Show opens next week. I'm still working on it. About, you know, we have these figures. We got a Tiger Woods. We got a Oprah. We got a, you know, all these people that we aspire to be. But at the end of the day, you just have to be yourself. And that's what I want people to take away from it. You know, just be who you're going to be, and don't sort of compare yourself or contrast yourself with anybody else, because it's ultimately, it's not going to get you anywhere.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you, MarQuis, based on your theater experience thus far, what do you think is the biggest barrier for people of color in theater?
A couple things, and I'm going to say the biggest barrier is we often get in our own way. When I was growing up and I started to get into theater, my mother was actually very supportive, and my father was fairly supportive, but a lot of my friends and sort of family had an idea that theater is, particularly for Black people, it's cooning. It is, you know, making people laugh and laugh at you instead of with you. It's a little bit of a sissy thing if you're in theater, because you're supposed to have like a man job. So there's a lot of different sort of layers within the Black community about its perception of being an actor, and it's certainly changed over the years as we see more and more Black faces on television and movies, etc. But there is still this perception that, you know, people of color, black men in particular, when you're in theater, that you are somehow less than, or it's not a real job. That's a big one. Or that you are, they attach sort of feminine and masculine ideas about what a Black man should be in theater. And I think that's probably the biggest barrier for people who are trying to get into it.
Wow, that's some good information. That's
yeah,
great.
yeah. Is that because of the types of roles that seem to be available?
That's a big part of it. That's a big part of it. And as we start to see more and more people of color start writing our stories,
Mm-hmm.
Black people's stories, other communities of color stories, we are starting to see like, yeah, okay, I do want to tell the story of a single mother who is, you know, just being regular. She's not trying to get her groove back. She's not burdened with 700 kids. She's just a regular person. And there are so many like nuanced stories that are not just about folks being ghetto or slaves. That's another big one. A lot of the movies and things that we've seen is often about slavery. And the Black story, the Black experience is so much more than that. And I could go on and on.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, no, it's so very, very true. And I think that what theater really needs is like a wave where people of color, as well as trans people, are put into roles that have traditionally been played by white people. There's this big thing now about The Music Man going up with Hugh Jackman. And I want to see a production of The Music Man where Marion is played by a Black trans woman.
I would love that. I would love that. I think that would be fantastic.
I've never seen that.
It's both about it's about Black folks, but it's also, as you say, it's about the diaspora of different, just people within the LGBT community. Just because I'm Black and gay doesn't mean that I can't play somebody who's Black and straight, or, you know, or that you're trans, you can't play somebody who is, you know, a man or a woman. So, you know what I'm saying?
I do. It's like taking that sort of non-traditional casting outside of just the non-traditional casting and just saying, I want to tell that story, but with these people, and have that story blossom in ways that we've never really seen it.
And it's an interesting counterpoint, because there is this idea, particularly in the white community, that we've seen it over and over again, where we see white people playing roles of color. And then they're like, oh, well, how come I can't do so-and-so? It's, you know, it's a whole sort of like, hey, listen, we've been disenfranchised from this for 200 years. It's our turn now, and it's time for us to tell our stories in the way that we should.
Right.
And you know, one of our viewers, Tina, just made a statement that this is why we do this show. Tina said, I haven't been to too many plays. I must make the theater a part of my future plans. Yes. Tina, you should. And this is why we do these shows. Please put going to the theater on your list. Thank you for letting us know that, Tina. And please, if you're in DC, please buy a ticket
Check out
to
Radio
the
Golf.
MarQuis
Yeah.
show. We will put the website for Peace Mountain Theater up, and please buy a ticket. I'm sorry. Yes, but thank you for that, Tina.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have a podcast called So Here's the Thing.
Yes.
It's available everywhere podcasts are available. Will you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So, very, very briefly, I started out the podcast because I was really just wanted to have fun. But the more I got into it, the more I realized that it was a bit of a therapy for me. As much as my energy and my personality seems like I'm a person who's sort of extroverted and out there, oftentimes I felt that my voice wasn't heard. And so I just said, you know what, there's so many people, put a microphone in front of me and I'm going to start saying some things. So the first season was me talking with some friends and family about their experiences. For a couple different experiences. One person left the Jehovah's Witness faith, and what her experience was, having been a Black woman in the faith and outside of it. But the second season is where I had really started to shine, is about being Black in America. And it's all sorts of things, from growing up Black to, okay, I'm grown and Black, but how do I navigate the workspace, particularly in white America, to Black people being taught financial literacy. That's a big part of it too. So the second season, I'm just about to go into my third season, but the second season is really about being Black in America, and all sorts of things. Police brutality, I could go on and on. The third season, which I'm very excited about, I think is going to be about Black people and mental health, which I'm very excited about, like focusing specifically on not just Black men and women, but people within the Black LGBT community, and their mental health and how they do self-care, the stigma against therapy in the Black community. I could go on and on, but that's the theme of the seasons and the idea of the show. It's called So Here's the Thing. I hope you all will put it in the chat somewhere, or the link, so people can check it out.
Right on.
Well, thank you. We will definitely do that. Before we let you go, MarQuis, what advice would you give our audience members who might want to get into the theater to see the play?
The biggest advice that I would say is get out of your own way. Don't be afraid of trying something new. If you have no experience, I think that's another barrier. People say, oh, I don't know how to act, or I don't want to be in front of a lot of people. Listen, we're in front of people every day, and we're always putting on some type of sort of different version of ourselves. And if theater is really just creating another person, it's not that complicated. Get out of your own way and start with community theater, because it's such an organic family of people who will embrace you. So there are tons of places out there that you can audition. You can hit me up. I'm willing to do private coaching, etc. But get out of your own way. That would be my biggest advice.
MarQuis, thank you so much for joining
Absolutely.
us tonight on He Said. I'm going to look at the schedule. I'm going to make some time to see you, because I know you are a dynamic actor, and I know you're going to kill it. So I'm going to be in the audience before it leaves. It is, ladies and gentlemen, it is running at the Peace Mountain Theater, as I told you, and it will be there from February 17th through to the 27th. So if you can get your tickets, please do that.
It's selling out quickly.
MarQuis, thank you again for joining us, my friend, and don't go away. We're going to bring you back, and keep doing what you're doing.